The warmest of warm greetings to all our viewers for the year 2022. May this year be full of positivity, good health, and prosperity for all of you. Hi, I'm Nulufer, and in this week's episode, I will be telling you about the top legal news of the week that has gone by and a quick recap of the Supreme Court judgments of the year 2021. Stay tuned for this and a lot more. Starting with the Supreme Court overview, in 2021, the Supreme Court delivered 865 judgments, out of which 3 were Constitution Bench verdicts. It created history by appointing 9 judges, including 3 women judges, thereby giving us 4 sitting women judges for the first time ever. While Justice N.V. Ramanna took oath as the 48th Chief Justice of India, year 2021 also gave us hope for the first woman Chief Justice, as Justice B.V. Nagaratna is in line to take the oath as the Chief Justice in 2027. You can read about all this in the Supreme Court in our yearly roundup on the SCC online blog. Now let us come to last week's Supreme Court's updates. In a case where the Andhra Pradesh High Court had condoned a delay of 1011 days even though there was no sufficient cause explaining the delay, the Supreme Court has held that the High Court has not exercised its discretion judiciously. The High Court had observed that if the delay is condoned, no prejudice will be caused to the appellant as the appeal will be heard on merits, and that there is no willful negligence on the part of the respondents herein, nor it suffers from want of due diligence. However, the Supreme Court noticed that it was a case of gross negligence and or due want of due diligence, and the reasoning that was given by the High Court while condoning the huge delay of 1011 days is not germane. In a case where an intermediary between the sale of PPE products by a supplier in China to a buyer in the United States challenged the prohibition of the export of such products from India, the Supreme Court has held that as a developing country with a sizable population, banning MTTs or merchanting trade transactions in PPE products was critical in ensuring that the Indian foreign exchange reserves are not utilized to facilitate the hoarding of such products with wealthier nations. The court said that democratic interests that secure the well-being of the masses cannot be judicially aborted to preserve the unfettered freedom to conduct business of the few. While addressing a matter relating to outraging the modesty of a woman, Justice M.G. Sevlekar, Judge of the Bombay High Court, has expressed that touching any part of the body of a woman without her consent, that too in the dead hour of the night by a stranger, amounts to violation of modesty of a woman. In the court's opinion, the act of the applicant was capable of shocking the sense of decency of any woman. In the present matter, the applicant was sitting at the feet of the victim and had touched her feet. The said behavior smacked of sexual intent. Otherwise, there was no reason for the applicant to be in the house of the victim at such an odd hour of the night. The bench stated that the applicant did not enter the house of the victim with any sublime motive. He had ensured that her husband would not be present in the house that night. The above said incident clearly indicated that the applicant had gone there with sexual intent and violated the modesty of the informant. In another case, Justice Anuja Prabhu Desai, while addressing the matter of a daughter alleging rape by her father, expressed the significance of the term sterling witness. The instant appeal was directed against the decision by which the appellant was convicted for offences under Section 376 Clause 2 subsection F and Section 506 of the Penal Code, and also Section 5N read with Section 6 of the POSCO Act. The daughter informed the Child Welfare Committee that the accused had subjected her to sexual abuse. Therefore, the police was directed to record the statement of the prosecutrix, pursuant to which an FIR was registered for the offences under the above mentioned acts, such as the Indian Penal Code and the POSCO Act. The additional sessions judge held that the evidence of the prosecutrix amply proved that the accused had subjected her to rape. Therefore, relying upon the sole testimony of the prosecutrix, the judge held that the accused was guilty of the above stated offences. On December 29, the Election Laws Amendment Act of 2021 received the assent of the President to amend the Representation of the People Act of 1950 and the Representation of the People Act of 1951. The Amendment Act introduces a provision to link the electoral rolls with the Aadhaar. On December 25th, the Surrogacy Regulation Act of 2021 has received the President's assent in order to regulate the practice and process of surrogacy, constitute a National Assisted Reproductive Technology and Surrogacy Board, a State Assisted Reproductive Technology and Surrogacy Boards. The Ministry of Finance has also included the term Electronic Gold Receipt or EGR as security under the Securities Contracts Regulation Act of 1956 via its notification dated December 24. Now, the EGR will have the same trading, clearing and settlement capabilities as other securities traded on exchanges. The Chartered Accountants, the Cost and Work Accountants and the Company Secretaries Amendment Bill of 2021 has been introduced in the Lok Sabha on December 17th. This bill proposes to amend the Chartered Accountants Act of 1941, the Cost and Work Accountants Act of 1959, and the Company Secretary Act of 1980. A social media post is doing the rounds that lawyers can show their Bar Council IDs as recognized ID proof for entry into airports. However, on the official CIS website, which is in charge of security at airports, there is an RTI reply dated Jan 7, 2020, which specifically disallows the IDs that are issued by Bar Councils for entry into airports. Therefore, we can safely deduce that the 2000 notification, which allowed the Bar Council IDs, has been rescinded. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.